Would you like some mate? Three scrambled eggs with green chili, 3 pieces of bacon, and mate. Keep feet in place. By the way, if you didn't know this trick, normally they drag on the ground with my 5 fingers. So what I saw, somewhere, I can't remember, was to use... Can I help you? Birds. Was to use a S-binder clip. I got these at REI. I think this is a numbers, it could be 0, it might be a number 1. But you hook them on the back, and then you hook, there, okay, focused. So you hook it there, and then you just slide the jean in. They don't drag and nobody would notice. Can I help you? I'm trying to talk here. It's Froggy. What is today? Oh, Wednesday, volunteer day. I volunteer once a week at a parrot rescue. It's called the Gabrielle Foundation, and they have a big facility out east here that houses over 500 birds. It's big. They have a huge outdoor areas for them to fly in. They have full-time staff that feeds, cleans cages every day. It's pretty cool. I go out once a week. Right now I'm making toys and enrichment activities for mostly the cockatoos. It is almost 2 o'clock. I've got to go run some more errands. I am hungry. And before I make a mistake, I'm going to eat a Tanka bar. So yesterday I talked about my definition of paleo and what I do. So today let's talk about how I got there. I'm trying to summarize this as quick as I can. I got here originally because I spent a good deal of my life feeling miserable. I had a few problems growing up, nothing crazy, some bladder problems. I did have some odd back problems, which is kind of something a small child shouldn't have, but nothing out of the ordinary. In my late teens, early 20s, I started having more back problems, which led to tension headaches. My bladder infections and the frequency of them kept increasing, and I broke out in some crazy head-to-toe rash. That was through the early 20s. In my mid-20s, the back problems got really bad. The headaches were constant. It was always like there was a background headache, and it was tension from my shoulders and my neck causing a major headache. I was diagnosed with interstitial cystitis. If you've ever heard of that or have never heard of that, it is basically chronic inflammation of the bladder. That was mid-20s. By my late 20s, you can tack on some additional things, like I had chronic stomach upset, various problems digesting things, and the back problems were increasingly worse. The bladder problems were increasingly worse. I had at that point been diagnosed with chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, the interstitial cystitis you heard of. What is it? Mastocytic gastroenteritis, which essentially is just a reactive gut. I was on a half a dozen medications, including birth control. I was on chronic pain meds, and I was this close from going on to disability from work. I was miserable. I was depressed, and I didn't know what to do. I was out of balance, and nobody could tell me why. All the doctors were doing were treating symptoms. Nobody could tell me why. I was in my late 20s, looked completely healthy. My blood work even looked pretty healthy, yet I was falling apart. I ended up tossing all my medications out the door. I went cold turkey pretty much off of everything, which I wouldn't recommend. And I started seeing some naturopaths and acupuncturists and experimenting on different techniques myself. I did go gluten-free on a trial myself, and when I tried to add gluten back into my diet, I fell apart again, so it was obvious that I needed to stay gluten-free. I have now been that for 6 years, 100%. Started looking into more traditional foods. I found Nourishing Traditions from Sally Fallon. I started eliminating all processed items from my diet. Preservatives, MSG, flavorings, anything like that was gone. And as I did each little thing, I got a little bit better. Eventually I was more low carb, less sugar, almost no grains, and really just meat, vegetables. Basically, I ended up getting to paleo, or what would be called a paleo diet, through trial and error on my own. About a year ago, I found paleo, and it explained why all of this had worked for me. I sure wish I would have found it 6 years ago. I bypassed all of the trial and error and ups and downs I had. So now I'm paleo primal, but I got there on my own. I am now far, far better. I can't say that I'm 100% healed, but I'm living life again. I can enjoy life. Chronic fatigue, no longer. Fibromyalgia, no longer. Interstitial cystitis, no longer. I have been off of all medications for over 6 years. I don't take anything but the occasional ibuprofen. This is how I got here. Dogs. Do you want to join in? Today we picked up farm eggs. Eddie, you really are not supposed to be on this counter right now. They're colorful. They're all sizes. I pay $3 a dozen for these. They are free range. Not organic though. I got some chorizo and some ground pork. I'm gonna make something for breakfast. Another package of bacon, of course. Would you please get off the counter? Thank you. My calcium magnesium supplement. Whipping cream for my husband. Some sugar-free peach preserves. Now, you know, I usually don't eat this kind of thing, but I've been really craving something different for breakfast. This actually contains, I'll read it, peaches, xylitol, spring water, fruit pectin, and citric acid. So the sweetener in it is xylitol, which I don't have a problem with in small amounts. I don't promote it as a, you know, let's eat everything sweet. Let's see, we got some colored peppers. Token onion, of course. Cucumber. Raw almonds, which are probably not raw. Zucchini. Mushrooms. Some Yukon Gold potatoes. And a treat. Sun Cup. You ever had these? They're really good. That's it. That'll be breakfast for a few days. Dinner, which I'm using some deer meat for. Itty, get down. Anyways, breakfasts, couple of those, dinners, and I don't know, snacks. Here, have at it. Leftovers from last night. 2 deer burgers, a little bit of mayo, pepper, and guacamole on lettuce.